Wojcik,
Yes.
Ms. Monaco.
I was not there. I'll abstain.
Okay. Mr. Brooks,
Aye.
Dr. Conti,
Yes.
Ms. Kasha,
Yes.
Takuna,
Yes.
Mr. Bolano.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yes.
I vote yes. 801.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, moving on. So the Fox Hill project is in great partnership with a lot of the other exciting projects coming down the pipeline in Burlington, but it will remain on its own project trajectory in regards to funding because of your MSBA partnership. And at eligibility, this is kind of just a little overview of where we are today. The MSB prescribes a diversified group of stakeholders to oversee the project from start to finish, which is you guys. You've been working over the past 2 years to review and approve the milestones to be submitted before we bring the general contractor on board and start construction. You've worked to review and approve 1 through 3. And next week, we are scheduled to bring milestone number 4, the final, the 90% construction documents, to you for review, for a vote, and to be sent to the MSBA next Wednesday. So in advance of that, we're asking this group to, or actually we've been tasked with bringing this group a list of all project pricing alternates, which we will go through in just a minute. We have images of everything. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask during the slide, or we can, kind of do a Q&A at the very end. We're not asking for a vote from anybody tonight, but just a review of the list of items, which you all should have received in advance of this meeting. And then quickly, before we start going through the list, just a little background on value engineering. Typically, we work with value engineering lists when a project is estimating over budget. Fox Hill has consistently come in under budget during the various phases of estimating. As I said before, there's 4 major milestones during 1, 2, and 3. No VE deducts were selected. And while this is a great exercise to be completing before the final submission, I just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware that choosing any of these kind of alternate pricing options at this phase could result in some schedule delays and some fee considerations. So just keep that in mind. And I did star some of those items in the list. This is just a background of where we are based on the different milestones. Originally, their construction budget was at about $80 million. The playground in all of these submissions has been carried in the FF&E budget. I just want to call that to your attention. I pulled that out in the revised presentation. At each of these phases, the majority of the SBC has voted to approve and submit to the MSBA. There have been a couple of adds to the project in both schematic design and during the 60% CD, which we will again review today. And then we have next week's meeting to be determined. Does anybody have any questions on this review? Okay, hearing none.
Andrea, if I may, sorry. First, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Fortunately, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so hopefully you can hear me okay. And I just want to say, Andrea, good job kind of summarizing and bringing us to where we are to date. You were probably going to get there, but you'll notice at the bottom of this slide, we just estimated 90%, and our current construction budget is just under $74 million. If you remember back in ST when we submitted and we made the grant with the MSBA, in agreement with the MSBA, our construction budget was just over $80 million. So without really changing anything in the project in the last year in terms of design, purely on market conditions alone, the same construction project is costing just about $6 million less, which is great news. We're in a tremendous spot right now, just considering where the market is construction-wise, local to Massachusetts. that typically we're having these VE discussions when the market conditions are not so favorable, and things have kind of changed on us over the last year. So just wanted to kind of put an exclamation point at the end of the 90% estimating that we are truly in a great position, and that we're not looking to make cuts to get down to a number, so to speak, which is usually why we're doing value engineering or value management to begin with. So just wanted to highlight that. Andrew, I'll let you continue.
Yes, thank you. Very important highlight is we are doing great through the project budget estimating milestones. Okay, so getting into it, this list was provided to everybody in advance of this meeting, showing all the alternates that could be a possible deduct. It's helpful to look at the averages over here. These are some potential alternates to add based on needs for the school. And these are the pricing alternates that have already been selected by the SBC at various phases. And with that, I will get to the imaging. The first item is the sunshade. Neil, is this on every side of the building?
No, just on the south side. So the side with the main entrance, all the windows have sunshades on them, except where there's deep overhangs like the library and the gymnasium.
Okay. Does anybody have any discussion on the sunshades that they'd like to bring up? Okay, move on. Alternate number 2 is replacing 50% of the phenolic with brick. I believe a lot of you attended the walkthrough in Amesbury, where you saw large panels of phenolic. Kind of adds a little bit more to the exterior of the school, but they can use a brick alternative for cost savings. Do we have any questions on this one? Great. This one is showing the elimination. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this is the rooftop mechanical screen that would come off.
Martha has a question. We can see your mouse, by the way.
Am I correct that those screens are in the back of the building?
You're correct.
So those screens would not be visible to the public in general? That's mostly for kids playing out back, and it's not even where the delivery people come in, is it? So hardly anyone would see those screens.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, but it does look like it's on a roof that is lower than the central portion where you would see from the front of the building.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Martha, it's a one-story roof there, and the kids do play in that area. That's where the outdoor dining potentially is and outdoor learning.
But it wouldn't be visible to the public generally?
It wouldn't be visible from the parking lot, no.
Okay.
But if you walked around the building, you would definitely see the ductwork and the units that are on the roof.
So is that something that we're talking about deducting, or?
Yes, in theory.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that all these, maybe with a couple of slight exceptions, that these should not affect or impact teaching and learning and educational programs. So they're very intentional, so that that they do not impact teaching and learning. So it's a good observation, Martha, on the back side of the building. So
It doesn't seem.
Can I
as we go through each of these, it's a bit of a value decision. Some of them might be easier to kind of visualize and anticipate, or maybe make a conclusion on. But just wanted to highlight that we're not suggesting cutting any of the program or size of the building. This is in a different category.
Eric has his hand up.
Neil, is there a, I know there's a visual benefit. Is there a safety benefit at all to these screens?
I mean, for the workers on the roof?
Workers on the roof, or do they don't prevent the kids from getting on the roof, or is it mostly just blocking a field of vision?
Yeah, it blocks the field of vision and some noise from the units when you're on the north side of the building, but it's mostly visual. And you can see the units in ductwork are kind of large, so we usually try to conceal them just because they're not very attractive looking. They're, ductwork is wrapped in insulation and a jacket and has lots of supports holding it up. So it doesn't look quite as elegant as the rendering shows it on the right. But, it's a decision. It's up pretty high. It's probably up 15 feet plus from the ground. So.
Does it help with any sound attenuation, Neil, for the outdoor classroom?
I think it does a little bit.
That's the outdoor
But we
classroom
haven't
is back
actually
here.
Did Chris put her hand out?
Yeah, we actually didn't study that because it's not it's like an intermittent, it's not a regular classroom, but we could study the sound levels there if it's removed.
Go ahead, Chris.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Yes, I think this is one that I would be in favor of eliminating. I think that, not to mix up projects, but all eyes are on us for financial,
Okay.
what's the word for financial? Being careful with our money, and this one doesn't strike me as necessary.
Okay.
Megan?
Thank you. So I think that, and I've had the pleasure of working in a building that has these screens, and I think they're uglier than the units themselves. I don't think they're attractive. I've seen them on other schools too. I don't think they really do much for the aesthetics of the building, possibly sound, but it doesn't sound like there's really much of that benefit, and that would be the only benefit in my opinion. So I would be in favor of getting rid of these.
Yeah.
I didn't raise this earlier, but when you looked at the sunshades, I'm confused about, is the idea that we're going to keep the sunshades?
Martha, they're going to go through one by one.
Well, we already did this one, and I'm just concerned about, do those sunshades make the building more efficient for energy? That's my question, and if so, I think we should keep them.
They do decrease the solar heat gain in the summer, which is a bigger load than the winter time.
Right.
So in the winter, you usually need heat from the sun. So it is an advantage. I don't know I can't quantify it right now, but I could have our consultants put a number on it.
So is that on the delete list? It's a little hard for me to tell which is in and which is out. That one's.
I think.
All these items are open for discussion.
Okay.
So this one, one was averaging at about $82,000. If you remove it, it's currently in the project.
So all of these are in the project.
Okay.
Everything is in the project.
So I would suggest that this be one that it's not as big of an item as some, it's not as small of an item as some, but I would encourage us to keep something like this if it's going to make it more energy efficient. That's my comment.
Bob.
You go first.
I'm sorry. I guess, Neil, regarding the sunshades on the outside of the building, are they still including sunshades in the classroom? And is it either or is it both?
Well, we have window shades at all the classrooms that we're not going to get rid of. Those are necessary. So right now, just the southern windows have these exterior shading devices. But every window in the building has, roller shades to darken the room.
Through the chair, how much light is let through the window shades or treatments? Like how translucent are they? How much light?
3%, I believe, is what we're specifying.
3%?
Usually 3 to 5%, which it sounds like nothing, but if you saw them, you can see pretty well through them.
Yeah, I have a good idea of
direct
what
sunlight.
they look like. And I do think that the sun, in my experience, still gets in and can make the room quite a bit more hot when you are in those southern-facing rooms.
Yep.
Okay. Let's keep going. We can go back and forth whenever we need to. Number 4, the sail shade at the outdoor classroom, right here. which is
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
how difficult is it to maintain that?
I can answer that. It's a permanent structure. It's not something you take down or maintain.
But you have to keep it clean, right? I mean,
Well, it's going to be pitched, so it'll drain. I guess it could potentially get dirty over time, but generally it's designed to pitch to drain and keep the snow off of it. So there should be minimal maintenance on it.
thank you.
I just would like to note this little asterisk down here that it is on the south side. This will be getting full sun.
And it's a little kind of alcove, protected space, so it could get quite warm there.
Sure.
Hey, Tara has her hand up.
You go ahead, Tara.
This is one that I would say, from a teaching perspective, would be very important to keep. I think that using that outdoor classroom, if you have kids with like white papers in the sun, it's like blinding to them to see the paper and to get their attention. So, and if it's really hot up there, I think teachers are less likely to go up there and use this space.
Agreed.
Okay. Moving on to number 5, eliminating the operable partition at platform. So that would be this. Is it this piece, Neil?
So this doesn't show it. So it's essentially the opening where the wood is in the stage. We have an operable partition that closes so that the stage area can be used as a music classroom or any other kind of classroom you'd like.
Okay, so it would essentially come across right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Does this help with sound in the cafeteria?
It's an acoustical partition. It's in like STC 50 or so. I think depending on how loud it is in there, you might hear some of it, but the intent was to kind of isolate the two spaces.
Go ahead, Martha.
My question is with moving partitions and how long do they last, and do you end up not using them anyway? And I'm just wondering what you can tell us about, we could spend the money on this and it seems like it's a good idea, but if it's going to break after a couple of years and we're never going to be able to use it, what would the advantage of it be?
I would say we've had good luck with this. This is an electrical motor-driven, like continuously hinged partition. So they are pretty simple devices, and everything's pretty accessible. But we've done it in a bunch of schools, and we haven't heard of any of them breaking down as of yet. But I can follow up with the manufacturer. Maybe you could give me some statistics on the typical lifespan of them and how frequently they break down. But I think in general they're kind of useful if you want an extra, learning space in the school. It's an easy way to do it.
Thank you.
Steve, go.
And we use their stages a lot, almost every building, as learning spaces. So I would say that's an instructional ad, or it's not even an ad, it's an instructional feature that's already included that I think we should keep.
Can I just add, Steve, Neil, is there a curtain on the front of that or no curtain?
There's a curtain too, so you can, when you use it for performances, you want to have a curtain. We also have a drop-down rear projector screen in conjunction with a curtain, so you can have, it's like a large screen. You could show a slideshow or a movie on it.
Steve, is your hand up related to the stage?
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback on Dr. Connie's comment. When I kicked off the discussion on VE, I mentioned there's a few exceptions on programming. This one is kind of a fringe program impact because based on the number of sections, I believe, right, of music, we were relying or counting on the stage to have some of that musical instruction space. And so without that acoustical separation, it would be really hard to do that without, right? The noise and everything will carry right into the cafeteria. So that's why that exists.
Yeah, I think currently they have all the strings and the instruments on the stage.
Yeah, thank you. My question was about the warranty on the electrical parts. I'm for this. I'm just curious if you don't have that information now, if you could share that with us before we vote.
I could definitely share it with you. I just have to do a little research.
Okay, thank
Get
you.
it to you in an hour or less.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Alternate 6, this would be replacing the glass railings with stainless steel mesh. You can see what's in the project over here on the left versus a proposed pricing alternate on the right. This is one item that I did flag that has a potential of having more redesign time that could potentially push the schedule.
And again, Andrea, the delta on this is 40,000 roughly, and the stainless steel is already designed in?
Correct. It's $42,000 delta.
The glass is currently in the project. It would
Yep.
be a reduction to go to stainless.
No, the glass is in.
The glass is in, it'd be 40K to less to go stainless, but may take longer.
Correct.
Oh, okay, I got that backwards. So the glass is the preferable, that's the one that people prefer?
Yes.
Okay. 7, so we're taking this outside. We reviewed the grounds, and you can eliminate the flat drain system. And that is, so it's in the project, but if you were to take it out, it would be a savings of around $345,000.
Martha?
Does this affect any of the requirements from the Conservation Commission?
I think I can answer that one, Andrea. I don't think it does. Really, it just allows the field to be used in wet conditions. If you're going to use the fields in
That's
a
really
lot,
useful.
it makes sense to have
Yeah.
irrigation and drainage.
Yeah, I think what we heard through the meetings with recreation and school department, right? We anticipate the field getting used a lot or being available for a lot of town programs. So not only is it a really, really nice to have, but it's been an ask from the committee and groups that we've been speaking with. And this one, this one may need to be re-reviewed by planning board if it's part of the site and how the drainage works, and just kind of putting a footnote there, but it drastically will increase the ability for that field to be used in the shoulder season.
I think that's important.
And again, this is currently in the project?
Yes.
All right.
They're all in.
I can't figure out how to put my hand up on
Go
my
ahead.
phone.
Go ahead.
But that sounds, I mean, I understand why it might be a valuable thing to have, and I'm not really arguing against it, but I do think it's a lot of money.
Okay, well, let's stay outside with the next alternate to see if,
Jeremy has his
Oh,
hand up.
sorry, Jeremy. Oh, no, down.
down. So the next alternative option in the field is to eliminate the field irrigation system. So again, it would make the fields less useful kind of year-round in that. So it currently is in the project, and if you do choose to take it out, it would be a reduction of $222,000.
Go ahead.
Jeremy's hand is back up.
Oh,
Oh, you can go first, that's fine.
So I was just wanted to make the comment that this was part of the Rex plan, and this is something we've been talking about is the overall scheme of fields for the town was kind of why we added the field as it currently configured with the drainage, with the irrigation to get that full size lacrosse field. So that was something, you know, the folks had asked for, just to get a point of context.
Thank you. So what are the rough costs associated with maintaining the irrigation system? So we'd be adding maintenance service or cost right now? Nothing like, no?
Right now, unless plans change, Recreation maintains the irrigation system.
Okay, so they would incur that cost.
And from other conversations with Rec about maintaining irrigation systems, it's mostly occasionally they have to replace pop-ups and valves, and it's a fairly low level of maintenance over time.
Okay. Thank you.
And it keeps the grass, probably maintains the grass even better than them having to redo it.
We have plenty of weeks where there's no rain or no
Yeah.
water on
Yeah.
fields. And yeah, it definitely helps.
Yes, the chicken that would be burnt out in the sun and kind of unusable because it would get, all the grass would get torn up.
Yeah, without both the drainage and the irrigation, you'd have a very unreliably field that was very unreliably available.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to number 9. This one is eliminating the soccer and lacrosse goals that would be supplied as part of the project.
My only comment would be is that someone would have to buy them later on. Yeah.
Right, and this is, again, in the project, and it would be, I think this is one of our smallest eliminations at $30,000.
It might,
Okay.
Yeah, Bob, unless you have a source or somebody in town has a source that can get them at a discounted rate below that, it's one of those things, you know, if you were to exercise the option to remove them from the project at this point, it doesn't mean we can't repurchase them through FF&E or, you know, that budget later. Again, a lot of these things, usually if we're really trying to get down towards a number to just keep the project alive, to keep it under our budget, we're just in such a different position. And I will be the first to acknowledge the fact that, right, everything going through town meeting with the high school, it does change the conversation somewhat. But that's why, you know, a lot of these are pretty standard value engineering options available and why it's included here.
oh, one,
Thank you.
sorry, just
Oh,
one comment on some of these things that have lifetimes, and it would be good to know both the lifetime and the replacement cost. You know, is it 10 years or is it 15 years? Just so we know what we're pushing into the future if we decide to drop it, or if we have to buy it outside of this project, which I can't see as a really good option.
okay. We will provide that as part of our meeting on Tuesday. Where are we? 10. So this is replace selective granite curb with Cape Cod berm. So this area that's highlighted as you are coming off the road into the school right now is granite curbing. So it would be replacing the granite with a Cape Cod berm, which is more of just a sloped asphalt. Neil, is there a sidewalk here? Or is it just
There's
a curb?
not a
with
sidewalk there.
grass?
No, just a curb. There's a guardrail too there at the traffic circle.
Oh, yeah, right here, if you guys can see that. Guardrail right here, and it'll be the curb outside of it.
The berms don't last. So again, that's been my observation. The snow plows kind of knock them up. So if we have granite now, I would like to kind of stay with it.
I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah, granite really is the gold standard, especially where plows are involved here in New England. So.
Thank you. 11 is to eliminate the display, this very large display screen at the learning stair. This is going to be, as drawn, is in the project in a recessed nook, so you can't hit it as you walk by. And it would be what teachers use for instruction, using these stairs as a classroom.
Again, I'm selfish. I consider that programmatic, so I'd want to keep it.
Yes, this is one of the ones that Steve mentioned at the beginning that would affect the use of this stairwell.
And then Andrea, through, I think a recent conversation, we had talked about whether a sound system was included or should be, just given the large volume of that space. Any videos or anything that the, teachers have to present, questioning whether or not it would be loud enough to hear it.
Right, Danisco's looking at, well, yeah, these are sound attenuation panels to absorb any sounds from the gym and hallway. And then Danisco's looking into the best speakers to kind of get the sound in the range of the kids' hearing over here.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked with adding them in the ceiling, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right, that was at our last technology meeting, so I just wanted to share it with the group for their feedback.
Is that in addition to the PA system that's likely to be out throughout the school?
Yeah, independently of the PA system, just a speaker system dedicated to that screen. So if you're watching a video or presenting and you need to project sound, whether a sound bar or speakers or something besides just the TV speakers, because it may not get all the way to the back of the room to the top of the stairs, was my concern.
Right, I didn't know whether the PA speakers in the ceiling of this area to make the PA system work could be double duty.
Oh,
But
that
that's a
may be.
different question.
Through the chair, I was just wondering something similar. I know we have in our classroom systems where teachers wear microphones around their necks so that they can speak and be heard. Would that area be wired for that so that all the students would be able to, yeah?
That's the same concern.
Okay,
Right,
yeah.
so whether or not what's presented, I'm not sure yet, but
Yeah.
that was the concern.
Okay, great.
Some type of amplification system for sound.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like we're spending a ton of time on this one in particular, but I just want to kind of revisit why, the design decision, right, Neil? I think it was in maybe ED where we had a focused decision on kind of what to do with this space and the orientation of getting up to the second floor in and around the music and art rooms downstairs. So there was an intentional design decision to kind of make this usable, teachable space, so to speak. Am I right, Neil?
yeah, I'd say it's a great opportunity. It's a big space that can hold a whole grade. It's kind of a nice thing to have in the school. And we were just, tasked with trying to find some items that we could easily VE, and that television seemed like one, but I don't think it was very much money, like $15,000 or something like that, or 20,000.
16.5, yeah.
16.5, okay.
All right, we will move on to 12. This is definitely hitting in the programming, eliminating the outdoor classroom as a whole. So again, this is currently in the project with the sunscreens, but if you were to eliminate it as a whole, it would be a savings of about $111,000.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of reiterate, this is absolutely right, programmable space and teaching space, so it is a little bit different in that sense. I think the request to add this to the list was mostly just like from a transparency and educational reason, just to understand, what it's going to take to turn that into teaching space, at least how it's in the design right now. So it was mostly for transparency and understanding. Nobody from the design or consultant team is, recommending we take it out, because it does seem like there's a need from a teaching perspective. So it is very much one tied to programs.
Can I ask a quick question?
And
In this particular picture, what's on that roof, those bubbles?
Oh, those are skylights,
Okay.
Bob. They're skylights.
Okay.
Bob, they are above the learning stair.
Right.
It'll help light that.
And there's kind of a drop ceiling there, but not really in the learning stair because there's like multiple fixtures hanging.
Yeah, if Andrew could go back to that slide, you'll see those orange or yellow things. Those are drywall kind of soffits that go up to the skylights.
Got it.
Question about, is the outdoor learning classroom, is the outdoor learning classroom MSBA reimbursable?
It is in the sense that it's tied to the construction of the building. It's not any one particular line item, it's kind of in the construction number.
Okay, thanks. It's not, they didn't rule it out.
No, but
No,
you
they
know,
didn't
Roger,
exclude
it's a really good point to highlight. You know, as we get deeper in the discussion about, you know, if we're looking at some of these, all of these, none of these, whatever have you, like the impact on the grant, the ones that are site related because of the way the MSBA math works, we're already over our site cap. So if we were to eliminate anything site related, those are dollars that the town is bearing 100%. Because we're so far above that, which is completely normal. That's just the way MSBA, how they agree in reimbursing exterior site work, because it's less tied to educational space. So that's just where they draw the line from their program. But things in the building and in the construction would very much potentially reduce the grant by their reimbursement percentage on eligible items.
Thanks.
I think Jeremy has his hand up unless it's previous.
Okay, go ahead, Jeremy. We had trouble hearing him last time, so maybe he's out of zone.
Put his hand down.
Okay.
I had my hand up from last time, sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, we'll carry on here. Okay, so this is not currently in the project. These were the two pricing alternates that were recommended by the site consultants to add. This is additional fencing at the outdoor classroom, which is over here.
Andrea, it's the yellow line.
Right? I can't see.
Yellow line.
Oh, okay. Sorry, right here. So this would give the
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
a barrier. You do have wetlands back here. I believe it's sloped as well. Isn't it sloped over here, at least?
It is sloped.
They were considering balls and things that make their way
And
to the
runners?
woods. And the runners, yeah.
I like fencing.
I agree.
And this is not a huge cost. We have it averaging at about $20,000 to add.
What style of fencing is this?
It looks like chain link.
Yeah,
It's chain link fence,
4-foot chain link fence.
Okay.
vinyl covered.
Okay. And then we have another fencing option. This is to eliminate the kind of fencing backstop at the kickball field.
Just to eliminate the need to replace all the playground balls that end up in the woods.
That's not really optional.
Yeah.
This again is another small add, just $20,000 or reduction. So sounds like that's a good keep. And we do know from speaking with the staff that they use a kickball field all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So next is the two playground options. We have a Delta. Right now we have landscape structures, which is this one on the left, currently priced in the project. And then, but you do have the option of childscapes, which would be a cost savings of about $187,000 if you choose to go with the alternate manufacturer.
Through the chair, I still believe that the cost savings in this is important. And I noticed, and this just could be something was missed in the renderings, I don't see a Gaga pit in the landscape structures. Is that not going to be in that version, or is it just missing?
I think there is one in the list of stuff. I'm not sure why it doesn't show up in the rendering.
Yeah, I think it's just missing from the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a follow-up from the previous discussion about the playground at our earlier meeting. You know, Danisco had to make some design decisions based on one manufacturer versus the other. I don't think it's a big difference, but at least they needed to make that based on one design. The bottom line is that when this is purchased, it's not going to be go out to for procurement at least for another year, just considering, right, this is outside the construction bid number. It'll be procured separately through the state contract, through pre-negotiated rates, which both these vendors are on. So I think we heard a question following, you know, why do we need to make that decision now? Do we have time to think about it? Bottom line is, yes, you have some time. We're rethinking it, and that's why it's on the table again tonight. As I mentioned, this wouldn't be procured and purchased for at least another year. So just wanted to revisit that and let folks know where we stand coming out of the last meeting.
And just to follow up, I think, as mentioned earlier, all eyes are on us. We're looking at these projects and making sure that we're making choices that are, you know, fiscally responsible. And I think that both options look great. They both have big, I mean, they're both huge. They have so many choices for students to play with, lots of accessible features, which I love. And I think, you know, if I was looking at this, and I'm going to say I think that the one that is $187,000 less is just as good. And I think actually looks a little more engaging color-wise. I'm not sure how anyone else feels.
Okay, thank you. So the next item that again is in the project is this human sundial, which is in this green space across from the main entrance. It was designed by Danisco to be a little educational outdoor space for the children. There's some stone seating areas, so it's a little kind of nature classroom as well. If that were to be removed, it would be a cost savings of about $68,000.
Yeah, this is one of those items that we were on the call last week during reconciliation. We were looking at that, and it's got some specialty kind of granite shapes. They're engraved with, you know, some numbers. It's definitely a really neat and educational feature to have that not a lot of folks do have. So I don't want to dismiss that part of it. It's just when the estimators started talking that they were a little more fuzzy on pricing this than other elements in the building, it got us curious, like, well, how much is it actually costing? So, you know, I think everybody will kind of land at a place from a value decision about, you know, what it's providing, what it is, but at least we wanted to ask and hone in on the price. And it shocked me a little bit. So I think it was worth at least bringing to the committee's attention.
Through the chair, will we see a rendering of what it actually looks like when we go to decide as to whether or not we're going to move forward with the human sundial? I'd like to see what it looks like. I don't really get a whole lot from a yellow dot, respectfully.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually, we were actually looking at the contract drawings, which had quite a bit of detail, but we can get that to you in the meantime.
Thank you.
Sarah raised her hand.
Oh, go ahead, Taryn.
I think I'd have to see this too to understand it, but it sounds like something that might only be used like once, like if a teacher takes a classroom out there and explains it and uses it. It's pretty far from the school to take a whole classroom out there. So again, I'd have to see it to see, you know, like to think through if I would use it as a teacher or how many times I would use it per year, right? But it sounds like it could be something that the kids have seen, have been taught about once or twice. They might not be brought out to it again. but the Science Center would probably disagree with me.
Thank you. So 16 is an alternate that we had discussed previously. It was replacing the standing. Chris, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, Chris, raise your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, Miss, what is the price of that human sundial?
68,000.
Yep.
60,000?
Almost 70.
Oh, well, I'm kind of thinking we may not need that, but that's just my opinion.
All right, in the interest of time, I think we just have one more.
Sorry. So this is the replacing this metal roof, which you can see as you're driving, onto the property, with this PVC top on the media center. To just go ahead and propose this because it, it looks better. And that was an addition that we made in July. Not huge price-wise, it's $76,000.
Andrea, didn't it also have a longer life?
Yeah,
I believe
it does have a
PVC
longer.
does.
Or Neo?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the metal will last longer. It's probably more like a 50-year life. I'd also note that changing this will require us to do a lot of redesign work, so it will potentially push the bid date out if we have to change a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's some
This is one of
detail
the
on
things
the roof edge and a lot of trades to coordinate. Yeah, no disagreement there, Neil. There's at this stage of the game. And this was, I think Andrea had mentioned, was an option at, was it DD or 60? Where
This was at 60, yeah.
yeah, so, just, 6 months or so ago, we looked at where the budget was, favorable market conditions, and it wasn't a big ad to get peace of mind and longevity up there, which, on a roof is a no-brainer. So that's why it's in.
Yeah, so this is here in case we needed to kind of consider something big, but
Yep.
should probably be a last
And,
resort.
and as one of the few examples of something that wasn't originally in at SD, but we added, so it's on a short list of voluntary ads along.
Through the chair, I believe it was more energy efficient too. Someone correct me
We
if I'm
could go
wrong.
back to the notes.
What'd you say?
We could probably go back to our notes if we needed to, but Neil, do we know?
I'm not sure about
Okay,
that.
that's fine.
It's usually the color matters, so I don't think we picked a color yet. It will definitely be a cool roof. Usually metal roofs that are light colored, but we're using a very light PVC roof, so that will also have a low albedo. So it'll be also energy efficient.
Okay, and then the last item, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, just really quick, and then we can go for a couple questions for a few minutes, is Tuesday, we will work on adding maintenance and lifespan to any of these items that we can. We can get a rendering of the human sundial. Is there anything else that you'd like to see in addition to what you've seen tonight before you make any decisions?
Thank you for putting this together.
Does anybody want to go back and review anything while we have Dennis go on right now, or wait for the follow-up presentation? Chris, do you have your hand up from last time?
Probably.
Okay.
Andrea, will we have the 90% number ahead of making these decisions?
Yes, we have that. The reconciled numbers came in Friday, The 90% number is what? Right here, the 73,950, 700.
And Steve, does that keep all the current contingencies as well?
It does. In fact, it increases your construction contingency even further. So right now, at 60%, we had moved that 4.2 million down to construction contingency. So I think what we typically hear in public projects is, oh, well, you just, put the money in contingency, you're going to spend it on something else. Well, we haven't, right? That's why we're going through this value engineering process. So we had some reductions and additions. So we're not making the recommendation to earmark that for anything specific. It's purely in the budget. It's what was approved at town meeting and gives the town the authority to borrow. But money not borrowed is, money not spent and doesn't have to be paid back. So we're not suggesting to put it into anything specific other than a contingency. If, for some reason market conditions change on their head in the next month or two, and it just provides further cushion for project unknowns, which we've narrowed down quite a bit. So it's purely there as a contingency, and that's our recommendation, to just move it down to contingency. So we'd be around 6 million
And
from where we were at SD.
And through the chair, Matt, when would you expect bids back? Because when would we have a real, not that these aren't real, but a firm committing to build the project at a certain price?
Yeah, so we're going out to bid, next month. It'll be bidding. It's a tricky time because we have Thanksgiving. We've got, some of the other holidays towards the end of the year. So we're anticipating likely to get some pushback from some bidders. So we've worked that into some time contingency. But to answer your question, we're expecting to have bids in hand in January. So that's when you'll have a number from a contractor that's their promise to build the school for that amount of money. Does that answer your question, Eric?
No, it does. I'm wondering if it almost makes sense to push any of these decisions until we have a real number, anything that's not going to impact design or anything. But again, it's not real to me until I sort of see someone willing to do it for a price, but that's me.
Yeah, I think the sense of urgency is because we need to put them into the documents for the contractor to bid. If they're not in the documents to bid, they're not providing a price for it. So if there's a voluntary action to add it later, we don't get competitive pricing on the bid. So it's a little, right, we don't have a lot of leverage to push back on the pricing that's given to us from the contractor that's awarded the job. It doesn't mean we'd have none, but it ties our hands a little bit. But with the exception of the playground, playground is the exception in that that's kind of the only one that's outside of the construction budget. So we really want to make sure if it's in or out of the job, we know now to get the best available pricing. Now, if there's a decision to add one later, and we don't get the best pricing, but we get the ability to exercise it, we certainly can do it.
Because, Neo, you could always call it the Danisco human sundial.
We could. But as Steve said, it's a little bit of a balancing act. You kind of don't have too many alternates going into bid because it kind of confuses the contractors. So we really want to decide what is important now and then get that into the base contract instead of having a menu of items that you might add or deduct. It just makes the contractors kind of it can change the way they bid the project in negative ways. So if you just wanted to have a couple of alternates, I think that's okay. But if we had a dozen, that might not be in our best interest. And we would have to design some of them, so that would require additional time if we had to do 2 designs, for instance, of the guardrails or something.
I didn't make a slide for it, but any other topics? We have 4 minutes.
I just wanted to follow up on the operable partitions. I did look it up. It's a 10-year warranty on the products and a lifetime warranty on the hinges.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Is there any public on? Let me look here.
No.
No. Okay, well, thank you all for reviewing these items. Please send along any questions that you might think of, in advance of Tuesday. We will put together some more information for you. We'll be sending out the packet, the whole package, this 90% submission for you to read through as well. And good luck at your next meeting. Looks like you have a couple minutes to use the restroom.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, everyone, Chris was too.
I know, she sent that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, I would have been here if she had sent that.
No, I was surprised Martha came. I only got here because I wasn't sure I'd have time to get here in between. But Chris was remote too, it's fine. David and everyone else.
It's because Catherine told me to be.
No, it's fine. I was on the phone with Steve and I said, are you gonna be there in person? He's like, it's just remote. And I was like, okay, never mind. I need to get water.